What's up, guys? Happy Thanksgiving, 24 hours away. Thanksgiving Day. I'll be with you guys tomorrow for the Packers review. It's the Packers versus Lions, a big Thanksgiving Day game. And after that game, I'll be on the channel with my review of my Packers, which we just lost our tight end, our star tight end, Musgrave, and our star running back, Aaron Jones, yet again. And we have a struggling quarterback in Jordan Love, a hot and cold defense. You never know which one's going to show up. An inconsistent offense. Oh, man, taking on one of the best teams in the league, the Lions. This should be a lot of fun. Or the complete opposite. No matter how this game goes, no matter how far off the rails it goes, I'll be reviewing it tomorrow. But for wrestling content, this is probably going to be it till at least Friday, so this is my chance to say Happy Thanksgiving to all of my near 25,000 subscribers, and those that maybe have not subscribed, maybe have a phobia of subscribing, but you still listen to all of BC's uploads. I appreciate you guys too. Happy Thanksgiving. And hold on, time out, rewind. What Would You Do Wednesday will be returning next week, guys. Next week, What Would You Do Wednesday? It's just the second ever episode. You guys enjoyed it last week. I enjoyed making it. It's just in an off week because of the holiday. So in the NFL, they call it a bye week. It's an off week. What Would You Do Wednesday is back next week. There was supposed to be no wrestling content till Friday. But a story that I've been closely following, I had some confirmation earlier in the day. And I had some time, so I said, you know what, let's talk about it. And you guys, if you follow the channel on a regular basis, you won't be shocked over what this story is. And it has to do with Raw. Monday Night Raw. Why has it not found a new home yet? Or solidified the deal with USA Network, right? Put an exclamation point on the talks and let's announce a finalized deal. Why is the USA Network not even mentioning talks with WWE? Right? Smackdown found a new home. NXT found a new home. USA Network doesn't even want to talk about it. Well, on this channel, we have talked about this on a regular basis. And some fans don't like to talk about numbers, statistics, metrics, right? They come across channels like this and, why do you guys care about the ratings? Why are you talking numbers? Just enjoy wrestling. Okay, Timmy, go to bed. No, I think I'll keep talking numbers. I'll keep talking statistics. I'll keep talking metrics, and I'll keep getting smarter. It's fun. So we talk ratings, right? Why ratings don't matter in 2023? Oh, but they do. They do matter. They absolutely matter. It's exactly why Nicholas Khan fell well short of what he wanted for Smackdown, for instance. Right? Smackdown saw a lot of money come in, right? They saw a nice uptick in revenue for this latest 5-year deal, but they fell short $40 million a year, times that by the 5-year deal, and Nick Khan and WWE left $200 million on the table. What that does is it sends the stock market into a frenzy, right? Your WWE stock, your shareholders get scared, they panic. Well, why are we 40 million short a year already? And the ratings have been going down. The interest with your fans has been down. And we're losing $40 million a year. We should have had a lot more money, $200 million more on this deal. What does that say for Raw? What does that say in 4 years when we have to do the new deal for the 5th year? What does that say then? Are we even going to hit anywhere near where we're at? That's what it does. It sends everybody into a panic. So why everybody has their heads in the clouds and they're like, wow, SmackDown saw a lot of money come in. It's well short of what Nick Khan wanted. NXT, prime example, right? We're hearing all these stories. They got double the revenue intake of what they were getting. This deal is twice the amount. That only puts them between 30 million tops, I believe, right? We found out that they were only getting 15 when we originally heard it was 30. So the double would put them at 30. But even if you want to put it 30 to $40 million, that still doesn't net WWE revenue. It's not putting them into a place where they're profiting from NXT. And if you want a business model that shows you that, AEW's Tony Khan has already admitted they get around $30 to $40 million for this Dynamite deal and Discovery, Warner Discovery, 30 to 40. And to Tony Khan's credit, he's been fully honest. He is not yet seeing a profit with that deal. So we know that $30 to $40 million per year is not actually going to net you profit when it's all said and done. Well, NXT is basically in the same camp that AEW is in. So even $30 to $40 million will not net WWE a profit through NXT. And to WWE's credit, from day one, they have never lied about that. They have said that NXT has never made them a dime. For those that don't know, that's a true statement. NXT never made WWE a real dime. So now that you see an uptick with their TV deal, everybody thinks this is the revenue they've been waiting for. But again, it just puts them in the bracket of what AEW is basically in. And Tony Khan has admitted since day one, he's not making a profit. What I'm saying is NXT will continue to not make WWE a profit. They're happy just to have that deal, and they're happy to stay afloat and hope that in the future they can garner enough attention and enough of an interest from cable providers, or at that point maybe streamers, to maybe spend money that is actually going to make them a profit. To make NXT profitable, you have to be $90 to $100 million bare minimum per year. Bare minimum to start making a profit. 30 to 40 is not going to do that. So NXT is in the same exact conundrum as SmackDown. They see the uptake, but it's far short of what they were hoping for. That's why they were stacking NXT for weeks, months. They wanted those ratings to be well over 1 million consistently. They could only pull 900,000 once. Mostly it was 800,000 and 700,000. It was an uptick, but never really 1 million plus consistently, nowhere near. And because of that, they got what they got. But they were hoping for way more. The only difference with SmackDown is they're actually going to see a profit from this, right? You're talking about couple $100 million per year. That's when you start seeing revenue. But again, $200 million left on the table. It's not what Nick Khan was looking for. He thought, and he sold his shareholders. He sold that stock that they were going to be much more valuable. But when you come $200 million under the value of what you were searching for and hoping for, you are no longer holding the value you thought you held. So this brings us to Monday Night Raw. And that's why USA Network got SmackDown, because it all comes down to ratings, numbers. They said, if we're going to spend a lot of money and keep WWE, we might as well go for their most highly watched show, which is SmackDown. Of course, broadcast television, so it's not a fair fight. And it came 1 million viewers under what Fox was looking for every single week. They wanted 3 million, and they were only pulling over 2 million. But still, USA Network is like, we're going to pay a lot of money anyway. Monday Night Raw is going backwards very fast. It's been in reverse, and they don't even know how to put this thing in drive and go forward. So they said, let's go SmackDown. And they refused to meet Nick Khan's price for SmackDown by nearly $40 million per year. And then we come to Monday Night Raw. I get it all the time. BC, why do you think Raw or USA Network has not just finalized a deal? I mean, everything else is getting finalized. Wouldn't you just want to tidy this up, put a bow on it, especially before the holidays, put out the announcements? No. The biggest hang up right now is USA, and I have confirmation on this. I got this just earlier. USA Network will not meet the price for Nick Khan. And the fact that it's taking this long tells me that Nick Khan is playing hardball. And he's trying to say, well, we have all these other options. There's FX over here, even though I have to question that, because that's still with the Fox, right? FX through Fox. Fox was acquired by Disney. Disney is still eating the $8 billion hit that it took from acquiring Fox and FX. So unless that became a subsidiary, they're still going to eat a lot of that money for a long time to come. I don't know if just purchasing USA's Monday Night Raw is going to help their cause. But they're probably going to say, well, streaming over here, Amazon's offering a lot of money. So we don't need you, USA. So that's what this tells me. The fact that they're just playing hardball. But just like I told you guys, Fox was not going to meet what Nick Khan wanted. And then after we've been talking about it to nauseum, Fox's CEO and president comes out and says, no, we are not going to substantially uptick our number to what Nick Khan wants it to be. We're not going to move that needle because the ratings are not showing that it's justified. They said that, man. Fox said that. They said the reason that we decided to move on, that was their words, remember? We're moving on from WWE because the audience just didn't justify a new deal. It didn't justify the ad revenue we were getting. There wasn't enough of the audience. We're just moving on. But we were saying for the longest time before their president and CEO came out, we said on this channel, there's no way Fox is going to meet what Nick Khan thinks they're worth. The ratings are not showing that. If they were pulling in 3-4 million viewers every Friday night on broadcast, yeah, okay, now we can start talking. But the networks are not going to buy into your BS sandwich that Nick Khan is trying to serve every single day at his BS cafe. It's not going to happen. These networks are catching on. And the USA Network is finally waking up. After so many deals of literally just being dragged over the coals, they're saying, no, we ain't being dragged anymore. Raw's going to get a most likely a sizable uptick, right? Because the demand for live entertainment, you put it on cable for everybody to watch live, that's high. And something like pro wrestling, especially WWE so established, it's still a commodity to a lot of these networks. So they're going to see most likely not just the new deal, but a sizable uptick. It's going to be well short of what Nick Khan was hoping for. And then you're going to see the ripple effect, right? The vicious cycle will ignite and the stock will go into a frenzy. The shareholders will have a panic attack. And you'll see it probably dip the stock until maybe the 60s even. They're already in the 70s. And that's when everybody wakes up and goes, well, wow, we're not as valuable as we thought we were. We lost $200 million, or we left $200 million on the table on the Smackdown deal. We left all of this money, whatever it's going to be. I wouldn't be shocked if it's another $200 to $300 million left on the table from Monday Night Raw. Put that together, by the way, with SmackDown, you're going to leave $500 million on the table because you thought you were more valuable than you actually are. Because you decided not to look at the numbers and the ratings. You just thought that everything you were doing was great because ticket sales are up, right? And when you go to these big shows, they're selling out. Record profit in this town and over in this city. Yeah, a lot of people are absolutely can't wait to get out. They're swiping their credit cards. They've been stuck inside for a couple of years. Revenue's great right now in terms of the ticket sales in the towns and the cities, right? Your big Saturday night events, you switch some things around. You found a little niche that you can tap into, and they'll show up. But I promise you, within the next year, within the next 12 months, that'll slowly start to change. Those credit cards can only hold so much money. And that debt does pile up. Those fans will not be able to hit up every single show when you come around. So you better start paying attention to those ratings. Because the USA Network is. And do you know what the USA Network is seeing? Because Raw's rating this week, I don't know if you guys caught it. Raw's rating this week was 1.4 some odd. I don't have the exact number, but it was back in it's still in the 1.4s. These are the worst ratings that Monday Night Raw has ever seen. Ever. That's with the Vince McMahon era, which is forever. But this is Levesque McMahon's era now. The last 2 months especially have been all Levesque McMahon. Confirmed, right? Even before that, but we're not going to get into it. But the last 2 months especially, because that's what was publicly known to everybody. We now know for a fact. BC already knew it was Levesque McMahon. But the last 2 months especially. And isn't it ironic, the last 2 months are the worst ratings the company has ever seen. And you could blame this week's rating, a 1-4 on Monday Night Football, right? It was the most watched game since like the 90s, BC. It pushed nearly 30 million viewers, BC. Doesn't matter. If anything, this showed you that football doesn't even affect the Monday Night Raw rating because they pulled a 1-4. Do you guys know what they pulled the last 2 months? I'll give you the last 8 weeks. I have it right here. Ready? 1-5, 1-5, 1-4, 1-4, 1-3, 1-5, 1-4, 1-4. Unless the Chiefs and the Eagles were playing all 8 weeks, the last 8 weeks, no. No, and if you're going to try to say, well, it's football season in general, BC. First of all, in about a minute, I'm going to show you a little side-by-side. I'm going to show you Monday Night Raw's October and November of last year, side-by-side with WWE Raw October, November this year. One of them, Vince McMahon, last year was running total ship, and this year, most everything is Levesque McMahon, and I'm going to show you guys a side-by-side. This has nothing to do with football. And there's this narrative, because Paul Levesque McMahon took over, that we're supposed to say everything is awesome, even when it's not. So now, when they pull a 1-4, we lowered the bar so much that the article, the headline is like, Raw stays strong amidst competition. Strong, stiff competition. Raw pulls an incredible number against stiff competition. Raw holds its own against big NFL football game. Raw pulls respectable. You see all of this, and I'm thinking, when did 1.4 become the new normal of a solid number, even if it's NFL season, Monday Night Football? When did the 1-4 become good at all? What? Are we living absolutely in delusional world? And we're just literally like looking at 1-4s and even 1-3s as a good number because there was a big NFL football game? Guys, what are we doing? That's not good. And I just gave you the last 2 months. They're consistently pulling in 1.4s. This wasn't just because there was a big game on last night. So what do you... If there wasn't a big game on, did you think they were gonna pull 1.8, 1.9, 2 million? There's nothing in the last 2 months that shows that. That's why ratings matter. Numbers, statistics, metrics. That's why you have to speak in facts and in truth. You can't just talk in delusional circles. The last 2 months, 1-5, 1-5, 1-4, 1-4, 1-3, 1-5, 1-4, 1-4, and what? You thought they were gonna pull 2 million this week? But at least they held steady against the Chiefs and the Eagles. So based on these numbers, football isn't really affecting wrestling at all if they're pulling in 1-4 every single week anyway. And if you're wondering, before football season, they were struggling to get 1-7. They were hovering 1-5, 1-6. And again, they pulled 1-5 a couple of times during football season already. So the numbers are telling us that they're not that different at all when football is not in season. When Monday Night Football is off the airwaves. Raw is seeing their worst ratings ever. I'll show you side by side, as I aforementioned. Let me show you that right now, and you'll see exactly what I am talking about. So what I did, guys, is I compiled the last 8 weeks of WWE Raw, and I compare them to their exact same week from a year previous, which would obviously be 1 day off for each week. Last year, 2022, fully under Vince and Kenny McMahon. This year, obviously, mostly anyway, fully under Paul Levesque McMahon. And you see a drastic difference right up from October 3rd, 2022 with a 1-6 to this year's same week, 1-5. Then a 1-8 to this year's 1-5. 1-8 to 1-4. 1-6 to 1-4. 1-5 to 1-3, 1-6 to 1-5, 1-6 to 1-4, 1-6 to 1-4. These are the worst numbers in Monday Night Raw history, and they're all under the umbrella of Paul Levesque McMahon. These are absolutely terrible numbers. The wrestling community, for some reason, is touting them like it's an accomplishment. Especially because of said football games, when it's clear this is well before Monday Night Football even came back, that they were struggling to get 1-6 and 1-7. So with or without football, these are the new normal numbers. And for some reason, all the headlines you read these days is, wow, Raw stays consistent with a 1-4, strong numbers with a 1-4. But isn't it funny that just last year when Vince McMahon was pulling in 1-6s and even 1-8s for October and November of 2022, we were talking about how the ratings are imploding. They're going so drastically low. Something has to be done. The USA Network has to step in. This is terrible. Those were 1-6s, 1-8s. 1-3s and 1-4s, though, because it's Levesque McMahon. These are solid numbers being brought in. Of course, the USA Network is seeing these numbers, and they're looking at WWE, and they're going, wow, you think so highly of yourself. That's adorable. And we've done some great business together over the years, but you're nowhere near worth that amount. Your numbers are going backwards so fast that you're about to be playing with 1.0 flat, 1 million flat. You've already been in the 1-3s in the last month. I mean, if there's a football game and something big is going on in the world, you're talking about less than 1 million viewers. And then those same fans, it's hard to get them back, right? Because then there's no more FOMO, no more fear of missing out. If you miss a couple, 2-3 of these shows in a row, it's hard to get fans back. And I think that's exactly what's happening. The show's been so bad for so long, nobody wants to tune in. Paul Levesque McMahon's Monday Night Raw, where you just throw a bunch of matches nonstop, is not the answer. Some things have gotten better over Vince's WWE, thanks to Paul Levesque's WWE, and so much other stuff has either stayed the same or has even gotten worse. And that's why you're starting to see numbers just drastically go backwards, and there's no chance to get that back. Little things, first and foremost. Let's get the new theme intro. Hopefully it's a good one. Really put emphasis on the pyro. The commentators have to have a pulse at the beginning of the show. No more, welcome everyone to Monday Night Raw. We have 3 hours of great action. Here we go to the ring. No, it has to have. You don't have to be Attitude Era, but you have to have energy. We need energy. You have to feel alive, and you have a pulse at the beginning of the show. Otherwise, it is a grueling 3 hours of a chore to get through a Monday Night Raw. So it starts with just the production of it, right? Get rid of some of the LED lights, get rid of some of that. This is where Paul Levesque McMahon has a true chance to do some different things that are really going to change for the better. You know, and this is where I say he's not going to be able to do it himself. A lot of people put him on a pedestal because of Black and Gold many years ago when he had a 1-hour show that was tucked in on the WWE Network. Well, this isn't the WWE Network. And now you have 5 weeks of primetime television, not even including NXT. 3 hours of a Raw, 2 hours of a Smackdown. And we already know that he's not as into it as he used to be. He's cashed in so many times over. He's got the family now. He's got all these other endeavors that he's literally and figuratively, endeavors, pun intended, all of this other stuff to attend to. You're not getting Paul Levesque from the Black and Gold era. Everybody needs to stop. What we need right now is a creative team that is going to be creative. Get the production right, make the right decisions, start creating larger than life characters and storylines we can be captivated by and gravitate to, and then we can start the process of putting Raw back on the map, making Raw great again. Because right now, having a McMahon in charge, whether it's a Vincent Kennedy or a Paul Levesque McMahon, that's not just the answer. These shows are flat. There's no pulse to them. There's no rhyme or reason. They don't make sense. Vince McMahon's WWE Raw didn't make sense. That was one of the biggest issues. Paul Levesque McMahon's makes even less sense. Nothing that happens on this show has any rhyme or reason. Faces are taking on faces. We've already seen 6 heel turns, so those are not even as prestigious anymore. I don't even know who's turning what anymore. Miz all of a sudden went face. Escobar already turned on his LWO, even though they just got together 2 months ago. Drew McIntyre turned, or so we thought, twice, but then he's saying he's still kind of a tweener, so it doesn't look like they know what to do with Drew McIntyre. We'll call him more of a heel. Who else? Who else is turning? The ladies. That's something, right? Who just turned there? What's her freaking Zoe Stark. Zoe takes out Trish. You think she's going face, but then she kind of joined Shayna Baszler, who was working heel. And then she works face against Rhea Ripley. I don't even know what they're doing with. You could keep going on and on. They don't know. They don't know. They need help with this product. It's going to take a village, unfortunately, right? It's not one of those things like back in the day. You just took a Vince Russo and you're like, dude, come up with your stuff, filter it through Vince, and we'll see what we get. Boom, the Attitude Era, Crash TV. You could not look away. Everything was so damn entertaining. Even with mid-carders, jobbers were entertaining in the Attitude Era. So we'll see, man. But that's the big news there. USA Network. It's not a given that they definitely won't do a deal with Nick Khan and WWE. They will not meet Nick Khan's asking price. That is confirmed. So there's a good chance that it's not going to be on the USA Network, is basically what I'm telling you. Small chance that it could. Bigger chance that it won't. 100% chance that Nick Khan won't get what he's asking for, which would mean that nobody else would even come close to the USA Network's final price, which would speak even more volumes, which already did for SmackDown. They took their best deal, again, sizable increase, but they left $200 million on the table. That goes to show you that nobody was willing to meet Nick Khan's price for SmackDown. That was the better of the two shows. And I think WWE is in no rush to get this deal done. Before the holidays especially. They don't want that market crashing at all. Not even for a week, not a day. And they know that when everybody hears how under market they came, how they did not meet what they thought they were valued at, whoa, and that market goes into a frenzy panic, there goes their stock. They're in no hurry right now, and that's why Nick Khan will continue to play that hardball. But the USA Network is not happy with Monday Night Raw's ratings. USA Network is not happy with Raw. They will not give Nick Khan what he's asking for. So it's going to be interesting to see if Nick Khan does re-sign with USA Network for what will be, again, a sizable increase in revenue, but how far short from what he wants. Oh, it's so interesting. Can't wait to see who the final bidder is, what the final deal looks like, and what it says about everything going forward. Anyway, guys, that's what I got for you. I hope you enjoyed the talk. If you just found the channel, you can see we're not traditional. We just don't watch the show and then go goo goo gaga over everything we watched. And we're all positively talking about all the great performances. No, there's plenty of channels. Go check them out. Not here. Here, we like to talk about everything in the pro wrestling world, the business, the industry side of things. We like to break it all down. We like a little bit of negativity, a little bit of doom and gloom. It's okay, right? Some people might cry. Makes it even funner. Until next time, and there will be that next time. Current status. We out. Check you. Peace.